right. So thank you, Gina. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and start here. It's 7:01. I'm sure we'll get a few other folks to join. Hang on till the end. We're going to do a little raffle. You can have your very own Boxing Out Negativity sweatshirt made by Derek. And so, yeah, we're excited about this webinar. I want to start with just a little bit of information about Riot, Illinois. If you've attended some of our other webinars, you've seen this, but sit tight here and we'll go through our little spiel and then turn things over to Derek and Julie. All right, so Derek or Julie, can you just confirm that you can see the welcome screen?
Yeah,
awesome. All right, so welcome. Thank you all for joining us, whether you're on Facebook Live or on Zoom. We appreciate you being here. I want to talk a little bit briefly about Riot, Illinois. Our organization is the statewide nonprofit bike advocacy organization. So these are some of the things that we focus on. I just point out the very last line that we want to make Illinois better through biking. It's a slight twist on our mission statement, but that's our goal. We have 3 staff members. You are graced by 2/3 of the Riot, Illinois staff tonight. Gina's on radio silent and is going to help us out with some of the communication. She's our communications and projects coordinator. Dave Simmons, executive director, and then Ed Barsati, who has been with the organization for over 20 years, does still work for us part-time. We are fortunate to have the support of a number of organizations. And so we want to just give them a quick shout out. Our corporate membership program is relatively new, but fortunately it's caught on, and that helps support some of our programs. A bike safety quiz. So you can go to bikesafetyquiz.com. If you've taken the quiz, awesome, thank you. Take it again. Refresh every year or so. The whole goal is to increase safety on Illinois roads. So by teaching both cyclists and motorists what to do, how to ride safely, we're able to have an impact. It is all the questions are based on Illinois traffic laws approved by the Secretary of State. And as of last year, we have a Spanish version of the quiz as well, and then PDF versions for if you're in a setting where not everyone has access to technology. But all that can be found at bikesafetyquiz.com. One of the new initiatives that we've been working on, dabbling in. We have some more progress to make, but we want to kind of get the sense of building community around bikes. And so I kind of have this graphic and the little pedaling forward together. But the idea is that Riot, Illinois, again, being the statewide organization, we want to embrace and connect with really anyone who rides a bike, and for whatever reason. So, whether you ride fast and far or short and just within your community, we as an organization need to be looking out for you. So everybody is welcome in our Riot, Illinois community. And so, Derek, I don't know that you caught this, but this was from the Martin Luther King Day ride. So kind of a preview to some of the things that Derek and Julie are going to be sharing tonight. And so as I put that graphic in the slide, that was kind of, the one before this is just kind of the fictitious, right? Shapes, all shapes, sizes, colors, right? And then we got like the living example of it. So I thought that was pretty appropriate. And this was in the North Lawndale community. Where Derek lives. So just a couple of weeks ago when it was cold. Lots of ways you can support Riot, Illinois. We want you to ride. We want you to follow the rules of the road. Tell your friends and family. Mentioned bike safety quiz earlier too. And then of course we got a presence on social media. We're trying to do some new and exciting things this year. If you go through all that and you feel that, we're worthy of your financial support, we of course would love for you to become a member. And then our contact info. So our email is really easy. It's just first name @riotillinois.org. So is mine and Gina's. We'd love to hear from you. questions, comments, complaints, whatever you got, shoot us an email and we'll be sure to get back to you. So shifting to the main event, if you will, just have a couple ground rules. If you have questions, honestly, you can put them in the Q&A or the chat. We'll download all the files afterwards. So chat is preserved. So if you have something that you want to make sure maybe we get to Derek or Julie, go ahead and put that in the chat. Either way, we'll be monitoring those. And as you ask your questions, if it's appropriate at the time, we'll kind of interrupt politely. If it's something that can wait till the end, we'll kind of sit on it. And then we will be sharing the webinar is being recorded, so we'll share that link afterwards. And without further ado, I want to stop my share here and welcome Derek and Julie. And they're going to talk to us tonight about boxing out negativity and biking out negativity and all the cool stuff that their organization is doing. So with that, Derek, Julie, welcome.
Thank you all for having us. My name is Derek Brown, and I'll give you a little background of myself. I was born and raised in North Lawndale. At the time, North Lawndale was a gang and drug-infested community. And 1976 came myself, and just like my environment was so corrupted and infested with drugs and gangs, I became a part of, and I became what you would call a product of my environment. So as growing up as a child, all I wanted to do and be was a gang member. All I wanted to do for a source of income was sell drugs, because that was what was in my community so fluent. At the age of 13 to 12, I joined the gang. And as a juvenile, I spent half of my juvenile life in jail. I went to the penitentiary at the age of 17. I was shot, and by the time I was 19, my best friend was dead. Most of my friends was incarcerated. And it was like I became what my community was, corrupted and just destructive. But as one kept going to jail, I had to always ask myself, why are you in here? And it was I always point the finger at someone else. I pointed the finger at the system. I pointed the finger at the government, until I realized that it was me. It was me who made the choices. It was me who got myself in the situation, and I wanted out. So I ended up leaving the gang. I was a gang leader. I was on top of everything. I was promoting drugs. I was a drug distributor. I had controls of certain territories in my community. But then again, I had to realize I did more harm than I was doing good, and I just wanted to do something different. So I ended up leaving the gang, and I quit. When I quit, certain things started happening. I started becoming normal. I started having withdrawals, and withdrawals was no money. Withdrawals of you can't take care of yourself. I went homeless. At one time, the people I supplied drugs had more money than me. But all in all, I'd rather been homeless than continue doing what I was doing. I'd rather been homeless than to help destroy myself and my community. And one day I started working for an organization called Ceasefire. I started working for Ceasefire. It was like my first job. I was between 28 and 29 before I got my first job. And that's when I discovered the power that I had. I discovered my purpose. My purpose was to help people. I started stopping violence in my community. And it was easy for me to stop violence because I was once a part of the violence. That's when I realized that I was a credible messenger. I realized the influence that I carried. And I realized that the children that were once following me was doing the same things that I was doing when I was a kid. So I started started helping young guys. I started teaching them how to box, not really trying to teach them how to fight, but it was just to give them something to do other than doing destructive things like I once did. So one thing led to another. As I kept training the youth how to box, the community started buying in on what I was doing. They were, churches started donating equipment, organizations started donating Gatorade, and Boxing Out Negativity was born. I would say about 5 years down the line, as we was in full program with Boxing Out Negativity. I had a job as I was a supervisor at the time with Ceasefire. So every check I would donate a bike to the program because none of the youth had bikes. And as time kept going, I had accumulated about 30 bicycles, and I was going to working bikes. And that's where I was buying my bikes from. But the bikes were breaking down fast as we can get them. And as I kept going, I see that's a picture of Paul in the middle. Paul was like, man, what are you doing with all these bikes? And I explained to him about my boxing program and how I was getting the bikes fixed for the youth. And he was like, you know what? You don't have to come out your pocket no more. I met Paul, and then from Paul, I met Trevor. And Trevor started connecting us with different bike organizations, like Rolling Peace. He connected us with a biking event called Critical Mass. And me and my youth, about 30 youth, we would go once a month, and we would go downtown in front of the Daily Center and meet all of these different type of peoples. And they would meet all of these other bikers, which was something beautiful. It was something we was learning. I learned that this city was it was bigger than us. It was bigger than any organization because it was the biking community. And once we connected with the biking community, Boxing Out Negativity changed. You would say Boxing Out Negativity became biking out of negativity. So we started these bike rides in the community. We'll ride every Friday, and we'll ride through the community, outside the community, or anywhere in the city of Chicago. Sometimes we'll ride 30 miles, we'll ride 20 miles, but wherever it is, it was a different destination outside our community throughout the city of Chicago and also the suburbs. But what we started noticing when we ride through communities, people would just throw up the fist and like, hey, what's going on? And what we was realizing was we had became a symbol of peace. And everywhere we rode, everyone seen these Boxing Out Negativity logos. And it became like a peace marking. And that's what it is now today. Anytime we go past any drug spot, we go past any hostile environment, they will stop doing what they're doing. If we ride past a block that sells drugs, they will stop selling their drugs. They will give us safe passage, and they will just say, yo, yo, and just cheer the youth on. And that inspired me. And what it inspired me was to do something called a street love ride. So we prepared an event called the Street Love Ride. And the Street Love Ride was designed to invite every biker. The dream is to look just as big as Critical Mass, but most of all, to go through North Lawndale, some of its most hostile places, some of its most violent places, and just to ride all of these bikers through, just to show the love that we get from the community, but also to give the community a vision of doing something positive, a vision of becoming peaceful, a vision that, you know, there are people out here that care for them. And that's why it's called the Street Love Ride, because it's a ride designed to go through the streets of North Lawndale or the city of Chicago to show love, to give love, and to receive love. You want to continue, Julie?
Sure thing. So some of the backstory here too, I got involved with Boxing Out Negativity around 2017, 2018. And my background, my training was as a criminologist, professor by training. But in meeting Derek and getting to know the community and everybody kind of pointing his way as far as anti-violence, is like, well, if I really care about crime, the best I can do is to support him in what he's doing. And one of the things that I love about, I almost said biking out negativity, but boxing out negativity, is that to reach those that are at the greatest risk for violence, we maintain a low barrier to access. We try to keep an open door for all those that are looking for something different. And for Derek, that included maintaining an entire fleet of bikes. And so what's cool about these bike rides is a lot of times we'll be like, oh yeah, we're riding on Friday. Do you want to come with? And people will be like, nah, I don't have a bike. We're like, no, that's cool. We got you. Like, just come on out, right? So at the time he was doing these, it looks like I can't scroll back, but we were doing these, let's see, I'm gonna pop out of the polish thing here. We were doing these weekly rides, and then there was also this North Lawndale bike ride for peace that he was trying to host every summer. And so we had that in 2018, and I was involved a little bit with distributing some flyers and things, and we had a church that hosted an end of ride celebration. And so this is the team after that ride. And, I was looking at it, I'm like, it's mostly the team riding. And Derek was like, no, this is going to be a big community thing. Like, I can't wait till next year. And I'm like, all right. So the next year I was like, all right, Derek has this vision. So I tried to like make an Eventbrite post even, and we're like putting out these flyers, and we get there the day of, and it's just the team. And I'm trying to talk to Derek, like, hey, I think we've got to stop investing in this. like every year it's kind of just the team. And he's like, no, this is going to be big. Like, we're going to get the community to ride together. Like, and I've got enough trust in him where it's like, all right, we'll see where this goes. And in 2020, we were fortunate to connect with Obai Reed, who is the co-founder of Slow Roll Chicago, who apparently knows a little bit more about scaling up events than what I had experience with. But through connecting with him, suddenly we had this entire like community-wide planning committee, and all of a sudden the bike ride community was starting to get involved and show this incredible support. We had Divi come out and contribute 100 loaner bikes to allow now 100 people from the community, plus those that were riding our bikes from the fleet that we have, able to just come out and ride. It was personally important to me just from having so many different types of connections in the community that pretty much they were all there on that day. The intention was to show the street some love. So it's riding down the street, we see the joy in kids' faces. We see, people giving us that fist of solidarity. And so that was the intention, but we got so much love back from the streets on that ride. And so as we were riding down, like I remember just one street where a guy was just chanting like, peace, 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 as we were all rolling past, people honking their horns as they were, moving out of the way for all these bicyclists, like in a positive way, like that, that honk of support. And I'm trying to think of what else, but it was just, I've never personally, right, and I was the skeptic to begin with all this, but I've never felt that kind of just unity and love, and now I'm convinced this is going to be the greatest thing in the Chicago Peace Revolution. So that's my take on the street love ride. But we just had all aspects of the community come out, people from the bicycling community, a lot of different segments of North Lawndale. And we are so excited. We were fortunate to have the support of Dave Simmons as well in Ride, Illinois. We're critical in kind of scaling this up. Trevor Clark from Working Bikes, who's been with Derek since the beginning on bike riding. Obai Reed and the Lawndale Christian Fitness Center, and everybody just kind of rallied behind this event. And so I'm really looking forward to what this coming year, that was our inaugural event, and we had more than 400 people turn out. We had probably more than 20 organizations at the Kickoff Community Expo. And I think with word of mouth and with the experience that people had on the ride, and I've been running into people I've never met before and talking to them about the organization, and they're like, oh, is that your bike ride? So I'm excited for what the coming year brings. I think with COVID too, boxing is just the hook that we use for anti-violence. It's the hook that we use to engage those that are at the greatest risk for street involvement. And with boxing competitions being shut down because of COVID, biking has just been something natural to lean into that I think people really enjoy, and it kind of gives them that joy that maybe sometimes they didn't get to experience if they didn't have a bike as a kid. So this year we're actually expanding our bike ride series with an early summer event, which I'm, I think it'll be a great opportunity for community organizations and city offices to come out and sign up kids for their summer events, and have a big celebration to celebrate the city's youth on May 22nd. And then we'll ride as a community, and then the Street Love Ride again as an evening ride on August 21st. But we would love for everybody to register for these rides to help get out word to come on out and enjoy. If anybody is looking for other ways to get involved, when you go to those event pages and scroll down, you'll see a volunteer link if you're interested in serving on the planning committee or volunteering on the day of. And there's also a partnership form. And that is if you know of any companies that are interested in sponsoring these rides, or that any company or organization that could benefit from tabling at these different events. So yeah, these are just big celebrations of love for the city of Chicago. And we welcome you to check out our website and to join our fight against violence. Derek, what did I miss?
You hit everything.
Yeah, well, I want to jump in here because, we didn't know each other last year at this time, right? And so it was just kind of fortuitous that a few conversations took place, and all of a sudden, hey, you want to join the planning committee? I was like, sure. So if you're sitting out there thinking, well, do I have what it takes to be the volunteer, the planning? Yes, absolutely. Because, some of it is just, you kind of need some taskmasters, and then the folks that do the tasks. And then when it comes to the ride, I think I don't know, you guys tell me, were there more people than you were expecting last year? Because
it was definitely more people than we expected. But the most special part was the part that you played, David. With those little videos, something with a cell phone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are fun.
And you just put music in, and it gave it so much excitement. It's always the small things are some of the most biggest things. And a great part. And thank you. I can't thank you enough for that.
It helped to make it feel like, that I was contributing, Ride Illinois was contributing. Let me ask Julia, I want to put you on the spot.
Sure. Yeah.
So remember so I joined one of your guys' Friday night rides. It was before the Street Love Ride. Mm-hmm. And I rode there from Elk Grove. Mm-hmm. And I only say that because by the time I got home that night, I was like physically exhausted, but like emotionally on this super high. when we were riding, you were telling me stories about, and I just to frame it, and I'll let you take over, but going to see the ocean, right? Do you remember the story?
Oh, you're talking about the lake? Yeah.
Yeah, yep. Right. The kids, but what they thought, was the ocean, or maybe it was even like New York City.
Oh, that's what, was it I'm trying to remember. So yeah, so one of our younger kids, we were talking about where we were going for the ride that evening on one of the weekly rides. And I think he said something like, "Are we going to the ocean again?" And his brother was like, "No, that wasn't the ocean." He's like, "Yeah, and it's like, "Oh, the lakefront." Like, no, I think we're just staying around the community. And Derek's got stories too, riding along Lakeshore Drive, I know, with the kids.
Yeah, so most of all, like the youth that we're dealing with high-risk youth. We're dealing with youth that normally wouldn't leave off their blocks because of these gang boundaries and the high violence realm. So they never get a chance to go anywhere. So I used to like play little games with them. So one day we took a ride and we went west, and we went to the sports reserve towards the Brookfield Zoo, and I'm taking them. So they was getting kind of wild. So I tell them, hey, stay close because it's alligators out here. So they was kind of scared because they thought there was alligators in the forest reserve. And so it got dark, and all our bikes have lights on them. So one of them was like, I see something. Probably seen a deer or something. And so I had to stop playing the games with him. I was like, stop. So I did a peace circle. So we did a peace circle in the middle of this lot. And I told him, like, look up in the sky. First I asked him, I said, what do you hear? And he was just looking. He was like, we hear crickets. We hear birds. I say, look up in the sky. What do you see? And he was like, oh my goodness, look at all of these stars. Mm-hmm. And so I had to explain to him that, have you heard of ambulance? No. Have you heard of police car? No. And it was like one of the days that they found peace. And just it's just introducing these young children to something different. Is introducing them to another lifestyle. Like that story with the New York. We was going towards the lakefront. Well, we done been all types of places. So I wanted to come home one day, and we was going down through I said, let me just take them through the lakefront. And they seen the city of Chicago skyline coming from south, like around 35th. And one of the kids looked up and seen the Sears Tower and all the buildings. And he said, wow, are we in New York? But this is the reality of our communities. Our communities are not being served. But, you know, like the Street Love Ride was something beautiful. They got a chance to see different nationalities. They connected with people that smiled all the time. They connected people that shake their hand, you know, and just like with the critical mass, you know, going to meet all of these different nationalities and all of these peoples and seeing all of these different bikes. So in their eyes, everything you see had to be beautified. But you see a lot of people bikes and they put their own bikes together and they make them look pretty, and it just gives them vision. And everything is not just about a dollar, and everybody in this world is not about hate. So that was one of the most beautiful thing about this Street Love Ride, or any other ride that we have been connected with, was we were able to connect with different organizations, different people, different love, caring, and you know, it's just something amazing. I'm just grateful to be a part of this here. So again, thank you for this webinar. If you ever need me, you can always call me, or anybody else. You having a bike ride, call me. If it's not too cold, I'm there.
You know, Derek, you mentioned your peace circles. And, you know, you and I've not experienced one, but we've talked about them, right? Remember when my son and I stopped by and talk about, you know, just share a little bit more about those.
So a peace circle is, so basically, the peace circle come from the Native Americans. And they used to have these circles to come together whenever they have conflict with another tribe and they want to make peace, if they want to gather with the community. And so we just taking these rituals and bring them in today's time. So you never know what a child have on his mind. You never know what's going on in his house, his or her house. And so these peace circles are time to get them to sit down, get us to sit down, non-judgmental, but most of all, to give them a chance to express themselves, tell us how they feeling. And if don't nobody know what to say, we'll make a subject up. I will just say, hi, my name is Derek Brown, explain a little something about myself. And what is it, if there was one thing that you can change inside of your community, what would it be? And that would get them to open up their minds and expand their mind, and also expand their imaginations, so that they can all have goals to go through. And, you know, and it's all within the notion of peace. You know, we make peace with self. Once you make peace with self, you make peace with your family, make peace with your friends, make peace with your community, and spread that peace throughout the world. And that's one of the most important things about the peace circles. It allows everyone to be heard, everyone to be respected, and most of all, whatever it is not up to us to judge them, but to support whatever claim it might be, as long as it's positive.
I hope to experience one, and I know my son does as well. So we'll show up before too long for sure. Oh, sorry. Dogs.
And our peace circles are open for any and every human that's come in the name of peace.
Mm-hmm. So I have a couple plant questions here. Actually, let's see, we got a question here from, well, you know, Bill Chalberg. So he says, I'm trying to frame a question about inviting folks to my Downers Grove Bike Club to ride. An opportunity to get an idea about our neighbors. So Bill, maybe not so much a question, but the idea is, you know, Peace Love Ride 2021 will blow the doors off 2020, right? So we want invite anybody and everyone, you know, hopefully by then where COVID is close to a long, you know, memory. And I know we had a little rain last year, but, you know, just kind of added to you. I think you were saying, or maybe it was Obai was talking about how he liked the rain.
That was me talking about that. That rain, that was a passage of God. And right in the midst of that rain was this beautiful rainbow that represented all colors of love.
That really was beautiful. There really was. It rained a little bit during the expo, and then this rainbow came out. I was getting photos of it from Trevor, and then the ride started up, and the rain had cleared, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, so Derek surprised everyone in the Street Love Ride last year with an awesome fireworks display about halfway through. And you're telling me, right? You got something else planned. I don't want to know. I want it to be a surprise.
There you go. Next year, it's going to be twice as nice. So the whole point, you know, just think, we have so many different diversity of peoples. We have different ethnics. And it's like one of the most beautiful experiences in the world. So why not show that beauty with another part of beautification of the event, where what I want to show God's love. And when you look up in the sky, I want you to just see all of this great beauty in these bright colors. And what it represents is us standing together as one unit, one community, one love. And when I say community, I'm not just talking about North Lawndale. Community is a group of people coming together to share common denominators like love, peace, ideas, and things that we can do to heal this world. I always say, and I'm gonna say this forever, the model that we're setting is gonna be a trend that's gonna set a model across not just Chicago, not just Cook County, not just Illinois, not just the United States, but across the world. I can guarantee, you heard it from me first. I promise you that.
It's so powerful too. So for me, you know, there are all these stereotypes about the West Side or South Side. And, you know, literally, I remember my first time there, it reminded me of my dad's hometown of 1,000 people. And now I joke that North Lawndale is my favorite small town, but like, I mean it. I mean, it's such an incredible sense of community, and it's so often kind of isolated from other parts of the city. And so for the city to make that effort and the suburbs to come to North Lawndale to say, like, we're here and we love you, like, it was, I mean, that was a pretty beautiful display. And then to get that love back from the streets was just incredible. So I think, it genuinely is an experience like I haven't had before, and I'm happy to continue to multiply it each year. So
yeah, I mean, North Lawndale, which, you know, I didn't really know of. I'm not sure I'd been there growing up and whatnot, is, you know, as kids moving around the city or whatnot. But I don't, like, there is that crazy strong sense of community.
It's, you know, deep. It's beautiful. Absolutely.
And I've told the story, and I know, Derek, you and I were just talking about this a couple of weeks ago about, you know, growing up, and my dad grew up kind of on the West Side, you know, which, and so we'd go visit the old family home, and it was always, oh, kids lock the doors, right? I mean, talk about an uneducated, you know, and incorrect approach. But so that's, I will say, the one thing that Derek, you and the folks in North Lawndale and Obai, you've taught me, you know, just to kind of put that ignorance aside, you know. In one of my favorite rides last year was that riding from home in Elk Grove to North Lawndale, doing the Friday night ride, and then riding home, because, you know, I felt like I saw the whole city. So yeah, the sense of that, you know, peace and love in North Lawndale is pretty impressive. We have a couple questions that have come in here. Ralph asks, it sounds as if these street rides are more frequent than just May and August. So Derek, maybe talk a bit about the weekly rides, like the Friday night rides.
Yeah, so the Friday night rides, again, you know, one thing for sure, it's about having fun. A lot of youth don't have bikes, but you can always come to my house and look in my garage, and we'll tailor-made or fit size your bike right there. So it's just to get the youth outside. And like we'll do 20 to 30 miles easy. So what they're having fun, but most of all, they're getting great condition. And also it's killing so many birds with a stone because we get to ride through different parts of the neighborhoods. We ride through, like I said, you might see on the news, quote unquote, some of the most hostile, violentest places in the city. But when we come through with uniformed on, with Boxing Out Negativity t-shirts, hoodies, whatever it may be, our identification, and people on these blocks, they'll stop doing what they're doing immediately out of respect. They'll clap. They'll put their hands up, and women will come out crying. A lot of times we'll have to stop because a parent is interested in just having their children to be a part of. So it's just a beautiful thing. So Friday ride is a must now. So once the weather break, every Friday, we will be doing bike rides. We'll randomly pick a location, a destination, and we'll just start riding, and we'll ride and just, you know, listening to good music and just let our minds be free. And again, everybody and anybody is welcome as long as it's about peace.
Yeah, so those Friday night rides. So basically, if you go to our website, boxingoutnegativity.org, we have our contact information on there. Those weekly rides, it's kind of formed around the team, and we'll tell the team like, oh, today let's meet at 6 p.m. at the coach's house or 6:30 p.m. or something. But if anybody ever wants to join us for that, you know, like Dave has experienced, we have an open door. So if the Downers Grove Bike Club is like, you know, hey, we're free next Friday night, are you guys doing a ride? Just email us and we can tell you what the plans are for that week. And then these two rides are the ones that are being like really heavily promoted to try to build, you know, as strong a community around them as possible. So, but we always have an open door. So if you wanted to come out, meet our team and just get to know the neighborhood a little bit or ride, you know, wherever we happen to be riding that week, you know, it's an open door. It's absolutely welcome.
Yeah. So Ron, who's a friend of mine from our local group, Derek, talk a little bit about the boxing program, since that's where you kind of get started. Like, you know, what does that look like if a kid enters a program? You know,
so pretty much the boxing program, it's not really about boxing. It's really about just connecting with a youth. The program is free. Only thing that I really ask of these parents are just to let me become a part of growing their children. Let me become part of their life. So when they go in school, if they get in trouble, let me go and talk with the teachers. What I'm trying to do is build a family. So this program is not just my program. It's not just Julie's program. It's their program. So when they grow up, they will be able to recycle and come and do some of the things that we doing today. And that's giving, and that's love, that's caring, and spread the word of peace. So once we get a youth, nobody is required to box. They don't have to box. They can box if they want to. But most of all, their job is to support the boxers. Like I say, no one has to box, but everybody has to participate in conditioning their minds, conditioning their spirits. And we use these concepts. One of the concepts is when you're inside the ring, and if a punch come at you, you got to make a split-second decision. It's just like in life. Once a child leaves the program and they see any type of negative coming their way, they have to make split-second decisions. So Boxing Out Negativity is not just a program. It's a way of life. It's a way of they have to carry themselves. It's to bring their leadership, their king leadership skills out in a positive way.
Yeah, so during non-COVID times, we do have some kids compete, and that's through the Chicago Park District and USA Boxing, but it's actually a pretty small percentage of our kids. Anybody is welcome to come with us and train. And so for some, you know, it's a way of, you know, staying active and giving them something to do that doesn't get them into trouble. For some, it's people that have been street active, and this is a way of kind of developing a new identity, which is kind of cool. So I kind of joke, I was the least athletic kid in high school. And, you know, my dad used to watch boxing on TV when I was a kid, and I never paid any attention to it. And now I'm convinced that this kind of holds the key, because there's so much to people developing that strength and that, the determination and the habit of, how much you have to prepare, like Derek will say, just for a few minutes in the ring, and you're preparing for months beforehand, conditioning. And so developing that kind of commitment to something has been really powerful for the kids. But then we just surround them with this, really family community, basically.
Right. And the most important thing, the discipline it's a sneak discipline. Boxing is just our hook. That's how we fish. We fish some of the most baddest youth. Because again, in our community, it's hostile, it's violence, people gang banging, people fighting. So everybody want to learn how to fight. So once we get that bite and once we bait them in, you have to do conditioning. You got to run 5 miles. So a lot of the youth that train for these fights, probably training 4 to 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, just to fight in the ring for 3 minutes. So just imagine all the discipline that they're getting, the running, the eating habits. The master of learning is repetition. So while they with all of this positive energies, they be with us so much, then it gives them time to reflect the life on which they were doing, but reflect what they were doing, how they was jeopardizing themselves. Again, we do these peace circles to talk about these things and how can we heal these problems that their friends having. So it's not just to save their lives, it's to save their friends' lives. It's to save their family lives.
Yeah, we have a lot of sibling groups in the program. We have a lot of people that'll bring their friends in. And the other thing too, like you can tell people all you want, like, hey, you got to get disciplined. You got to, like you should be working out instead of doing all this other stuff. But like, there's something to, if somebody hasn't been practicing or they've been out partying or they've been smoking, like it's going to show in the ring. And it's so embarrassing to have that loss or to get like out of wind or whatever. And so now that increases their determination because it's like a prideful thing. So now suddenly people are doing things that like, if you just told them to do it, right, they might not do, but they're like, hey, I got to stop doing that because otherwise I'm going to embarrass myself again. So it really does become this really cool self-motivating cycle for wellness. Just if you build it like that, it would never have the same hook. Right?
And I got another story. So we had this kid came and he just wanted to learn how to fight. He didn't care about nothing but fighting. So of course I tease him. We do pad work and he see how the other kids hitting the pads. So of course he want to do that. But how I tell him is levels to this stuff. Run. He get back, run. He get back, run. Everybody's running, but he's lacking. So a lot of other kids, he running with a lot of other youth, and he's so disrespectful. He's cursing when he's not around us, and other kids tell me, what did he say? His bald-headed A got me out here running. What does running got to do with boxing? So one day, since he liked to fight, I put him in the ring to give him a friendly sparring match and had a kid just to dance on him, touch him a little bit. And at the end of the match was the time of lesson. What happened? I got tired. Why? Because I was lacking with my running. And what the running has to do with boxing? It brings your stamina up, your condition, and your mentals. So again, these sneak disciplines with boxing, this is a beautiful, boxing is one of the most beautiful sports that can ever be introduced to a child who has no way. But I'm not going to say boxing. It's always the coach. So I got to give it to ourselves for being great coaches because Julie, she goes out with them as well, and she runs the blocks with them.
Nice. So I'm gonna call you the Black Mr. Miyagi.
Right on.
It's all like, wax on, wax off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a couple comments here that came in. One, and we'll be sure to follow up. So Joanne is a member of the Evanston Bike Club, and they have a really great grant program every year. So, and I think, Joanne, I think you guys are accepting applications now. So as long as you're a 501c3, you can apply, and it's a very generous organization. So Joanne, we'll make sure we connect you and Derek and Julie.
Yeah. Definitely needed.
And then from Chris says, Coach Derek, I've been on several rides with you and the kids, and you clearly show strength and uplifting energy. But I need to add right now that hearing you tonight is making me feel more hopeful and peaceful than in a good long time.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Love that. Love that. Oh, that's heart feeling.
And so Charlie from Urbana, so down in Champaign-Urbana, wants to know, how do you pick the routes for your weekly rides? And do you organize the riders to keep everyone safe in traffic?
Oh, definitely. So again, I was in a gang, and a gang was structured. So you just use all the positive things that you learn in life and you get them. So we do have corkers, and the corkers' job is to make sure everybody rides on the inside of the corkers, and we'll have 3 up top to watch traffic in front of us. They'll have somebody on the back, somebody in the side, and nonstop we roll. And we have one of the most safest. We have 0 accident, thank God for that. But I think our rides are definitely safe just because of the trained youth that we have. And also, like I said, they've been already doing the corking. So Obai Reed had came through and did a training, which advanced what they were already knowing. So they're like, I have professional 12-year-old corkers. I have professional 14, 13, 16, 18, 20. Every youth in my boxing program can cork and make sure everybody's safe. And I trust these youth with my life.
Yeah, it is a trip to be on the ride and to see like a 12-year-old that's like blocking traffic for you, but we got the lights on their bikes and they know what they're doing. It's been beautiful. And I think they're really proud to do it too. So I love kind of cheering them on as we're passing. So that's been really cool. And as far as ages, we work with youth ages 8 and up, and it's usually probably like 10 and up on the bike rides with us, but sometimes some of the younger ones I'll be troopers for those 20 miles or so. And as far as how we decide where to ride, honestly, I think it's based on like how we feel on any given day. That Derek will, we'll meet at his house, and then it'll either be downtown or to the forest preserve. It'll, be based on how the weather is looking and, just whatever's going on that day. But
yep. Just we'll spin the bottle. Which way? That way. We'll get it. It's amazing.
And honestly, I think that kind of keeps it more interesting for the youth too, honestly, that it's not like, right, we keep saying we're not just a program, we're a way of life, but it's not like, well, here's our schedule for this summer, but it's like, come on out and let's see what happens. It's like, all right, coach.
Also, our training is outside. When we train outside. Like anywhere in the city can become our boxing gym. Outside my house, we had punching bags outside the house. I have a boxing ring outside of my garage. Police come and they stop, they get out. This is a great thing. We're bridging the gap with policing and community to get the police involved. This year, our local CAPS program, they asked as if can they ride with us on some rides. So we definitely welcome them as well. So it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger as we speak.
I was answering Joanne's question. She was asking about corkers. Joanne, the corkers are these crazy, energetic, fast kids who ride ahead and block the intersections so the group can proceed. And I am amazed at not only their the energy, like they keep going but once you cork an intersection, then once everybody goes through, you're in the back. So the corkers have to fly, kind of fly up on the left and get to, So it's not for the faint of heart because it's tough work.
Yes, and the corkers make it where we would hardly ever stop. And only time we stop if somebody wants to stop. So everybody put a mask up, stop. We're using hand signals. Whoever at the front, this means stop. This cautious, going left, we're going right. We have hand signals as well.
And there's a number of Charlie and Joanne and Elizabeth, and Bill, And Sharon, I've seen some names here, are league cycling instructors. And so I'm going to tell a funny story real quick, because when I came to the Friday night ride the first time, I'm like, all right, how can I help? How can I do this? And I'm thinking, well, I'll come down and I'll do a bike safety class, like our League of American Bicyclists bike safety class. And then went through the experience, which, it was fantastic, right? And I'm going, these guys don't need necessarily an LCI class. I mean, yeah, we could talk about helmet fitting and stuff, but like the fact that the group moves as a unit and there's all this communication, perfectly safe and super enjoyable too. So I kind of remember riding home going, yeah, they don't need to hear from me. They got it all figured out. Let's see. Go ahead and ask any other questions. I think we captured all of them. So if you have any more, go ahead and put them in the chat or the Q&A. I want to, we'll do a raffle here. But yeah, so give everyone just a minute if you want to ask any other questions. And then the raffle. So what I've done here is I pulled out the list of registrations here. This is very scientific. And I randomly sorted in Excel. So what I'm going to ask of Derek is to pick a number between, let's say, let me get rid of this here, between 1 and 30. Oh, you know what? Hang on. 1 and 31 is going to be the number, but I need to do a quick sort here to make this totally fair. I don't want somebody coming back. The winner of the raffle is going to get a Boxing Out Negativity sweatshirt. So we'll follow up with the winner. Okay. Go ahead and pick a number between 1 and 31, please, Derek.
5.
Number 5, Elizabeth Adamczyk.
Hey, Elizabeth.
And LCI, involved in Ride of Silence. She is going to be at your rides this year. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. And my sister, thank you, sis, wants to know if she didn't win. Sorry, is there a way to buy a sweatshirt?
Yes,
so, yes. That's how I got mine.
Yep.
What do you recommend? Like you want people to reach out directly to you?
How about to reach out to Julie? She's the
Okay. We'll send out an email, and that's just at the info email, right, Julie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I forget. Julie keeps me on point with everything.
I do my best. So, and then I also posted, if you can scroll up in the chat, but I posted both the links directly for the ride. So it's also on our website, but if anybody just wanted to click on it directly, that's to either register for the ride itself, or if you scroll down, there are those links for volunteering or expressing interest in partnering.
Right. And then as you see, one other question Joe asked, the pace of the rides. I mean, it's comfortable, right? I mean, it's not a race, that's for sure.
Definitely not a race.
Yeah, I think the street level ride was
our fastest link, and we're slow as our slowest link.
Yeah.
So it all depends on who's behind, and so we're definitely sensitive to the last person.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're welcome to anyone, just based on my experience and the pace. The Friday night groups, size of them varies, right? It's kind of whoever shows up.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, it's usually the team, but sometimes we'll have guests come out or other groups come out and ride. Sometimes we'll have people from the community. So, we had one girl come out and ride with her dad, not associated with the team, but just must have known Derek or been around and seen what we were doing. So it just depends on the week. But I'd say usually it's probably 20 or so from the team, maybe, that ride each Friday.
It all depends.
Yeah.
20, 30, 40, 50. It varies.
Yeah.
And all right, so you guys are a nonprofit.
We are, yeah.
And if those who are watching can donate, have a little extra money, obviously, send it their way. They're doing some really great stuff. The last thing I wanted to ask you, Derek, 5 years from now, you got to kind of look ahead here. What will Boxing Out Negativity have accomplished in that time?
Boxing Out Negativity will accomplish countless of youth going to college, graduating from college, running the program, employed by the program, and also building the program to be bigger than what it is. And also, I see Boxing Out Negativity 5 years from now, other branches out in other states. Like I said, this is a world model. I think this model should be modeled across the world due to the fact of its healing factors.
Awesome. I have no doubt. I have no doubt you'll pull it off. Well, we will share your contact info for sure. I wanted to thank you both, Julie and Derek, not only for tonight, but for being so open and welcoming to myself and to my son and others. I know, like I said, Bill's on the call. We appreciate what you do. We're happy that you welcome into your community. And here's the poll question. Sorry, I set this up last second, so everybody's got to answer a poll real quick. All right, there you go. Will you be attending the 2021 Street Love Ride? It's kind of a loaded question. If you answer no, I'm going to hunt you.
Well, the funny thing is, I was so enthused to respond, and it says hosts and panelists can't vote. So I just got to sit on this one.
All right, looks votes are coming in. They're exactly what I was hoping to hear. We've got, let's see, 70s. There we go. We'll share the results. All right, so nobody said no.
Okay, all right.
Good.
If you need some convincing or to reschedule some things, maybe make it work.
Okay.
We'll see you all there.
All right, thank you guys so much. Look forward to seeing you before too long. Definitely excited about the Street Love Ride, and happy that Boxing Out Negativity and Ride Illinois have found each other. And I too look forward to the next 5 years.
Absolutely, we are grateful for the partnership. So thank you for having us.
You bet. Check out Boxing Out Negativity, their website and social media. Sign up for the Street Love Ride, and we'll see you all on the ride in North Lawndale this year.
Cool, and thank you, Kimberly, and everybody else that has shared positive words. I just saw that too.
Likewise, thank you again, everybody.
All right, everybody stay warm. Nice seeing you. Take care.
Likewise, take care.